Hey guys, it's Clearly Rebecca, and I'm going to take a crack at editing a vlog instead of just like me talking at you with no point whatsoever. And I'm going to be using friggin' Windows Media, or Windows Movie Maker. So yeah, I apologize ahead of time if this is really awful. Hey, so I've noticed that there's some things that nobody tells you about living by yourself. Okay, the first one is how to motivate yourself. Like, when you're living at home as a teenager, you always got your parents on your back all the time, I'm sure. Well, I mean, like most people do. Mine were. They're, you know, like, go pick up your sister over there and clean up your room and do the laundry and the dishes and your homework, or bad things will happen. And you're just like, ugh, really? Yeah, okay, mama. But then, when you live on your own, you're on your own. Whoa. For real though, like, you really have to just motivate yourself to do all the things that your mom and dad told you to do, you know? I mean, you could let the dishes sit in the sink for 5 days, but are you? Should you? No. I don't. I try not to. I find myself, I have to like psych myself up to do the dishes, which is like kind of sad and necessary. So I'm like, come on Becca, you can do it. Doing the dishes. And you know, put on like good music, pump up the jams, and like dance around my tiny kitchen while doing the dishes. I mean, and it just doesn't apply to doing the dishes and chores and whatever as well. I mean, if you want to do something, once you know, get to a certain age, no one's gonna be pushing you as hard. If you really want to do something, you're gonna have to convince yourself to do it, even if it's like absolutely terrifying or like not something that you usually do. You really just gotta go out there and make yourself do it, because if you don't make yourself do it and you don't do it, then what are you gonna be left with? Regret. No regrets, I say. Second thing, how to interact with your neighbors. If I see a neighbor in like the hallway or whatever, I'm like a cat where I'm like, and then I scurry away. And then later on I'm on Twitter and I'm like, saw my neighbor today, A+ for social interaction. I don't know, it's just weird. You know, because you're the one who has to go talk to your neighbors instead of like your parents. So I guess that's another motivational thing. Also, nobody teaches you how to like talk to your neighbors who are less than pleasant. I mean, not that any of my neighbors have been unpleasant thus far, but I mean, they do play music at odd times, and there is, I think in the building next to me, but we share an underground garage, a guy that like works on dirt bikes or something, and he just like revs their engine all night long and like goes up and down the street, up and down, like all hours of the morning and night, and I'm like, okay. But anyways, number 3, nobody tells you like how lonely it can be. Maybe that's just me coming from like such a huge family. I have 4 siblings and then a mom and a dad, and then occasionally, you know, my grandma comes to visit, and whenever I go visit my family in Seattle, because that's where my mom's family is, like there's like 4 families living in a giant house, and it's like crazy. There's just like people everywhere all the time, and sure, it does get grating on your, you know, nerves and everything. You can't get away from all these annoying kids and stuff like that, but you know, you just get used to being surrounded by people all the time, and then when you live on your own, it's like nobody but you. And granted, I do live with my sisters, but I mean, we have like super different schedules, so you're on your own a lot, again. But kind of going off the same thing, number 4, nobody tells you like how cool it is, like how amazing and freeing it is. Like, you are an adult, I'm growing up. You know, you don't have to answer to anybody but yourself. Sometimes that does suck because you are your own worst critic. But at the same time, you know, nobody's pressuring you to do things you don't want to do. You can do things at your own pace and do what you want. You know, you're a grown-up. exciting? I guess the fifth thing that nobody tells you about living on your own and moving out and growing up, I guess, is how to be okay with not knowing what you're doing or where you're going. Because at this point in my life, I'm like, I'm gonna graduate in May and I don't have, like, I mean, I do have a job, but I work as like a waitress and a hostess at a Chinese restaurant, which is, you know, not a bad job, but not something I want to do for the rest of my life. I don't know what I'm going to be doing for the year before I apply to grad school, so, and you know, I'm okay with that. Going along with the flow, seeing what opportunities come up, and trying new things even though I don't know what the heck is going on. I mean, that's kind of the point, isn't it? Like, to go along and learn as you go. I mean, if you only do things that you know how to do, then you wouldn't end up doing a whole lot, would you? That's it for now. Thanks for watching. Bye.